All right. July 14th meeting will be called to order. Do we have any staff or trustee additions or deletions to the agenda?
Mr. Chairman, staff request one addition. I would like to discuss with you distribution of keys to county personnel related to the transfer of the administration building to Columbia County.
Is there anything else from trustees? Nope. All right, we'll move on to adoption of the agenda.
Move to adopt the agenda with
Second.
the addition.
I have a motion and a second to adopt the agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Now move on to our public comments. Don't have anything filled out here in front of me, but if anybody has a.
Sign up? I didn't have anything to say. Okay.
Oh, I didn't even see you back there.
That's what back here's for.
Let the record state. All right, we'll move on to approve the consent agenda.
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Have it. We'll move on to our new business. First item, discussion and, well, actually, do you want to, let's hit the keys first, Dale. Does that work? Or do you want that after this?
It's up to you.
Let's do it first.
Keys?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We have quite a bit of contact with Columbia County pertaining to this building, and it's all related to the potential or possible transfer to them. They have teams that come in on a regular basis. They're taking measurements. They're looking at various things. For the most part, we are typically here when that happens. So allowing access is not typically a problem. However, that is not always the case. And so I was having conversation with the county's IT director, which is Todd Manning, and it seems to me that we do not really accept much risk if we would just assign Todd a set of keys. Obviously, he would not get any passwords. He would not have access to anything that in any way could change what we materially do, our security system and et cetera. But if they needed to get in after hours, because that's when their vendor could meet with them, they wouldn't have to ask us to wait and stay and things of that nature. So I'm asking if you have any issues at all with me issuing a key. They would also be required to have their own security code where you would know when they come and when they left. But again, it wouldn't interfere with ours. But I do not have the right to do that without your consent because that is a matter of security. So I'm simply asking, do you have an issue with me doing that?
Sure.
Yes, sir.
I don't mind them coming in and doing what they need to do in order to get ready for it, but patient data and stuff like that would kind of be my only concern, and we're still paying a lot of money to the security companies, so I feel like let's utilize them. If they need to come after hours, let them security personnel come in here with them. Unless I'm wrong and they can't get into any of the patient stuff, that would be my only concern.
Do we keep physical patient records or is it all digital?
No, what information is collected, there is some physical records, but they're in secured areas, I think. As far as the security person, that is an option. But then again, they are limited as to where they can go in the building also. So we can handle it in any manner you see fit. I just don't want to do anything to impede their progress.
Do we know what's holding up their progress from taking ownership of the building?
Well, to be honest with you, no, it's just that their moving parts are not complete. It's nothing on your end, nothing on our end. Obviously Todd can't do anything until he gets legal descriptions and other things, which we've not been able to furnish them yet because they haven't been furnished to us.
And just an update on that from this afternoon, Brett has identified all of the corner markers, all of the monuments they need, and they have their basic measurements and dimensions. And so hopefully this week they'll start the actual drafting / drawing product.
So
That's the information the county received today from them.
Todd has a more recent update than I, so that's the latest.
Sounds like they're just bringing in vendors to me, right? Is that what it is?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest one, of course, is this building is going to be used by court administration.
Yeah.
They come quite often with teams of people. And for the most part, like we say, it's in regular business hours, but that's not always the case. We had a situation a week or so ago where they tried to make arrangements to come after hours, and normally we accommodate it, but it just didn't work that day. So, it caused problem.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Kennedy.
Mr. Williams, is it same key fits the doors for the office wing down here? I mean.
They do.
Okay,
They do. A key to this door fits the key to the front door.
okay, that's fine.
But of course, you have to disable the security system when you come in, or you'll have police here.
Right.
So you have to give them a code to do that. And by that code, that's how the system knows who's here and who's not.
Your recommendation?
I see no harm in giving them a set of keys, but I don't want to tell you it's absolutely necessary. It's not. It's a convenience item more so than anything else.
Would they be in the control of Mr. Manning? Cause
Yes, the keys would be issued to Mr. Manning.
and he wouldn't be giving them out to others?
No, the idea would be just as Sonia and I are custodian of keys.
Right.
We are bound not to duplicate keys without your permission.
No, I mean, Mr. Manning.
Yeah, they would be the same. Those would be issued to him with the understanding they're not to be duplicated. That type of thing.
But he couldn't give it to somebody and say, you go down there, I don't have time.
Well, he could.
Good.
If he did, you'd know it because you'd see it on the film at a later date, but
Yeah, and they'd have to you'd have to give the code with it.
Well, it sounds like we've got a pretty good backup system as far as security goes. And Mr. Beal, I agree. Your thought was, very good, but if they're precluded too, really don't need them down here, but we've got cameras and everything else, so I don't see where it would be a big problem.
I'm good with it, Dale. I don't know if anybody has any.
You need a motion?
I would prefer one, yes, sir.
You could have it to where Mr. Manning would have to be present.
Yeah.
There you go.
That sort of a compromise.
That would compromise it, yeah.
If somebody's,
At any
you
time.
got somebody to answer
At
to.
any time when Mr. Williams or Mrs. Markham couldn't be here. Correct? That he would have to be present.
I mean, that's an alternative, and that way you got one person to go to for accountability.
Is that your motion?
I
I tried.
believe he said it in the form of a motion.
I make a motion that we approve Mr. Williams to give a key to Mr. Todd Manning with Columbia County Board of County Commissioners to access this building after hours, but he must be present at all times when he or someone else is here. Is that sufficient?
It sounds like it to me. Motion,
Second.
Motion and a second to allow Mr. Manning to have a copy of the key, assuming that he will be here, be present at all times when that key is used. All those in favor say aye.
Uh,
I didn't hear you.
I'm gonna abstain. I came in the middle of the discussion.
Oh, okay.
I voted in the affirmative.
Affirmative, okay. So I was gonna say, I didn't hear. Okay, so the motion passes.
but before we leave that, is there a need for the college to have a key to their building?
I asked Dr. Barrett that question and he basically said not at this time. For the most part, they have not made any request to come after hours. What they've done has been during normal hour.
We'll move on to the next item unless anybody has anything else. All right.
Well, what,
Oh, sorry.
well, I do, Mr. Chairman. And
Yes, sir.
see, Mr. Williams opened up a can of worms on this. Is there any discussion, because we're in the next 90 days of possible storms, of them using, hopefully not this building, but is what the building back here for any shelters, as far as you know?
I do not know if they have designated that for the coming year as a shelter, either for people or pets, which
Right.
they did pets last year.
Right,
I can certainly ask, however, that building is under agreement with them regardless, so
Correct.
we have no control or say on it.
okay,
It's been transferred,
Right.
so. I can certainly find out though if they intend to use it for that purpose for this year.
or this building, so,
Well, they don't have this building
I
yet,
got you.
so.
okay,
I mean, obviously, if it fit into their emergency management response plan in some way that was beneficial, I think we'd want to help the public and
Yes.
do that, but we've not been requested.
thank you, Mr. Chairman.
It's good. Unless there's further comment, I'm gonna move on to the next item. Discussion and approval, the letter from the city regarding the 11.2 acre parcel. Declared as surplus, Mr. Williams.
Yeah, just to remind the board at your June meeting, you decided that you wanted to take this 11.2 acre parcel, which is the most southern eastern parcel that's owned by the authority. And you wanted to offer it for purchase by bid. This parcel has been bid. This parcel is advertised. Bids are due on the 23rd of July at 1:00. After having advertised it, I received a letter from Mr. Rosenthal at the city. And he basically said that the city had an interest in this parcel and he was willing to commit to the $20,000 appraised price. So because it came from a governmental entity, I think it's only responsible that we give them the courtesy of review. If this would have been an individual, we would not. We'd have simply said you need to just bid on it if you're interested. But it did come from a governmental entity, so I did place it on the agenda. And as to what you have a number of options here. You can, I think, and Todd, correct me if I'm wrong, you can rescind the bid and accept the city's request. You can say to the city, you would really like to see what the market may bear on it, and you're glad they're interested, but please submit a bid for it. I mean, there's other things you could potentially do too, but I wanted to make you aware of the city's interest in that lot. And just to see if what your preference was as to how we address it.
Thoughts? Yeah.
Public comment.
Oh, that's right. It's been a minute. Any public comments on this item? Sit up there. Anybody? Okay.
Sure.
Yes, sir, Mr. Field.
Think government should follow the same rules as everybody else, and I think the Epstein list should be released. So I don't, I mean, I think we should notify them, you know, that, hey, you can put a bid in, but I don't think we should. We've set that process up. We've put that process in motion and voted on it, and just think we should continue with it. I don't think it's fair to anybody else that might have already sent a bid in or plans on it.
I agree.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Kennedy.
So I guess what Mr. Beal is saying, then Mr. Williams needs to notify Mr. Rosenthal that we are still accepting bids up until the 23rd of July, and if they wish to bid, to go ahead and submit a sealed bid.
That would be my recommendation.
I don't have a problem with that. I like that.
Chancey? Any
I
thoughts?
think it's a good idea.
I think it's the way to go.
I'm tired of people saying, oh, you're gonna give me this? Well, I need this too.
Fair enough. So I guess that means we just don't have to take any action. We've already released the RFP.
I'll contact Don and simply tell Don that, it is the view of the authority that at this time, if the city wants to submit a bid, please do so. We welcome it, but that because it's already bid, you want to make sure that everyone gets the same opportunity. Or at least that's what I thought I heard.
That's what I heard.
And that's on the 23rd at 1 p.m.
Yes, sir, it's when bids are due. They are only, you have to do it in writing. We didn't accept any by email. It's pretty standard. I got Todd to review all of the closing requirements. It's bare bones. We're not furnishing title insurance or any of that. If the successful bidder wants it, they can pay to have that done. You have to have a cashier's check in order to close the transaction. It's the typical things that you would expect, but it is out to bid.
Works. Any further discussion? All right, we'll move on to the next item. For discussion and approval, letter from Meridian for a new Lakeshore Hospital building inspection report. Williams.
Yes, and again, let me just bring you up to speed as to what I've done regarding this. And I do think that Lauren is attending via Zoom.
Yes, she's here.
Okay, so if you have any questions for Lauren, she will be with us via Zoom. In the agenda packet, you have the letter that I received from Lauren where Meridian is requesting a new inspection report. And then I responded to that and I sent all of you a copy of that response. And I basically said, look, Lauren, the amount of time necessary to do a new full inspection is considerable. And in addition to that, we have to go through a selection process just to find who would do such a study, do those things. So this could easily extend for months down the road waiting on this to be completed. So I asked Lauren to consider identifying what their specific concerns were. And from that, the intent or my intent was to try and see what we could arrange that we could be done in short order. So we don't end up with an extended review period, waiting on reports, that type of thing. Lauren received that and she responded back to that, which you have not seen, on July the 11th, which I believe was Friday. Later in the day. And so she gave me their specific concerns and points in that letter. And so I immediately started preparing a response to that. Now, I wasn't able to complete my response because I needed to have conversation with Dwayne Cunningham, the facilities director at Lakeshore Hospital. We were not able to schedule that until this morning. I did meet with Dwayne because I want to make sure that whatever information I provide is accurate to the best of my knowledge. Some of the information he could give me immediately, some of it he could not. But as of now, as of late this afternoon, I believe that Dwayne has responded and furnished me with all the information I requested. So I am putting a response back to Lauren regarding the items they identified. And again, my intent is to see if there's not some way that we can agree on some very short way to inspect and review to make the parties satisfied. That's the procedural side. The obvious problem here is on the legal policy side. When you do this, it begs two questions immediately. So if we do this, and if it's satisfactory, does that mean that Meridian would then agree to sign the conveyance agreement? And it also brings up the question is if we do this now, does that mean we're able to waive the 60-day inspection period in that conveyance agreement? Because that potentially is the way you can make up the time that it's going to take to do this, even in an abbreviated form. If we do it and they say this will satisfy our due diligence period of 60 days, the authority is kept whole, if you would, time-wise, assuming it can be done in that period. But that's kind of the approach that I have made to this. It will now be tomorrow before Lauren gets my response to her specific areas and items of concern, but I will get that to her tomorrow, and we'll see what their response is at that point. But I don't really know what else to do other than what I just explained. I don't know if I've missed something here that I should do, or if you can give me some advice on something else, but I think that's really it. I don't know what to do beyond that.
Public comments? Okay. Thoughts on the board?
Chair.
Mr. Beal?
So the information you requested from Dwayne is information in records? Well, housekeeping and upkeeping of.
Yeah, specifically, Mr. Beal, 3 years ago, approximately 3 years ago, when the process started, Meridian and anybody else who wanted to respond to the request for proposals was given all the engineering reviews and documents. So nobody should expect the building sit there and improved itself. That becomes the baseline. So the only real question is what, if anything, has happened since the baseline? Now, from my perspective and in reading Lauren's concerns, and I have no problem with them being a concern, but for example, they mentioned we have concerns about the annunciator panels, the fire warning systems. Well, if you go to the engineering report clearly said back 3 years ago they were obsolete and they needed to be upgraded and improved. So they didn't sit there now over this period of time and improve themselves. And I know that we didn't pay to improve them. So there are those kinds of things that need to be pointed out. They mentioned there was a leak in a pipe enclosed. Very familiar with it. It was leaking before the reports were done, and it's not a leak. What it is it's in an area where the condensation, because of where it is, it just gets real wet. And it's going to require insulation to fix it. There are some concerns that I did not know about. Those were the ones that I asked Dwayne to specifically go check for me. Obviously, it has been a fight to keep the roof plugged. We know that. And, we'd patch a leak and the leak would spring up over here. And yes, there was some damage done as a result of that. Nobody is denying that. But is it real what I'd call significant damage? Most of it's like sheetrock walls in rooms, some of the rooms, which we left purposely because we didn't want to replace it until the roof was fixed. They mentioned elevators. Now, we all know that the elevator code changed a few years ago. It's going to be a big ticket item to bring those up to code. I think you would agree that you would do that because that was something that the report did not mention that we chose to do after the engineering report. But there are those kinds of things. And so they'll all be included in my response to Lauren, and obviously I'll send you a copy. But from that, I hope there's some dialogue where we can get down to something very simple. I mean, like they were concerned about mold and mildew. Look, mold and mildew tests take a long time to do. Let's just go do an air quality study. If there's any in there, it'll show up. Be a lot quicker. Things like that.
Would the presence of that mold and mildew change anything?
No.
I kind of look at it like, what's the?
I have a question.
Yeah,
These are concerns that when you own something and you want to keep it up or you want to improve it, you take care of. Now, what I said earlier about the other Meridian, every time we think, not we, let me clarify that, you guys think that the whole thing's over with and Meridian's getting it, they come up with something else. And it costs us money. I have yet to receive a gift of any kind where I go to somebody and I say, oh, I don't like this. I need this dress for this doll. Can you buy it for me? Think about it. What Meridian wants us to do is totally improve everything. Well, if we're going to totally improve everything, why do we need Meridian? Why do I need to pay taxes on my property and my business so that a private enterprise can get ahead?
Sure.
Mr. Bill, are you finished, Ms. Chance?
For the moment, yeah.
Okay. Sorry, want to make sure.
So
I thought there was a little bit more.
There's more coming.
I agree with Ms. Chancey to an extent. I'm not really in favor of doing another study. We're saying here's a free building. There's issues with it.
Yeah.
That's the reason that it's a free building. I thought it was very clear at the very beginning, whenever we said, okay, who is willing to take the building without the $10 million? Everybody wanted the building and $10 million. If I could have put in a proposal, I would have done it. Give me the building and $10 million too. I don't think we should do another study. I don't think we should sink more money into it. I will say, in Meridian's defense, I don't think that they have asked us to spend money other than the parking lot. The city has cost us some time and money with their monkey wrench. Meridian's been good so far, but I don't want to go down this road. And then another question that I had, my understanding at one point during this last legislative session is they had about $1 million that was being allocated to Meridian for this project to do some engineering and stuff like that. Do you know, or I don't know if Ms. Cone is where she can answer or not, if they got that? I mean, again, I don't know if it could be used for that, if some of that allocation could be used for that.
My understanding is that that request for funding was withdrawn by Meridian.
Okay.
Now, I have not confirmed that. I did not go and check that, but that, I was told that, my understanding is.
And I just, before, that's a couple more questions, Mr. Chair, if you'll,
Go ahead.
part of this letter. They're hoping, they look forward to the city's response. Mr. Kennedy, have we gotten a response from the city on the latest?
The city requested that, I believe it's K and L, that they, Meridian, and those are the ones that said we will not operate XYZ facility like ABC facility that we already have. And Mr. Martin requested that they didn't want to get in a situation where Meridian came in and operated one slightly different than ABC. And so I contacted Mr. Evans with that concern. He actually sent in a revision to K and L that I sent to Mr. Martin. And I think that satisfied Mr. Martin as far as the request he made. And then the only thing subsequent to that I haven't heard back from Mr. Evans is on the paragraph or the condition about the router, for lack of a better, the communication part, that if it's required to be installed after the tests are done, that Meridian would agree to maintain it. And I believe that maybe the consensus, I hope, was that that was implicit, but the city wanted that, the word maintain in there. And I've spoken with Mr. Evans and I have not heard back from him. I didn't get the feeling that was gonna be a problem.
That
So
was,
assuming that we put the word maintain in that particular condition of exhibit B, we've addressed, Meridian has addressed the language components of what the city is requesting.
that was the emergency systems, like the ones that went down last week in Columbia County. So that way that they would.
I don't know what went down, but it's, you got your
Yes.
B done?
Yes, sir.
I walked off and left my red line, I'm sitting on my desk. So K was purchaser shall not relocate to or operate on the property, the long-term adult treatment facility now located at Williams Manor. I believe it now says purchaser shall not operate a long-term adult residential facility, or one like Williams Manor. So it encompasses that whole long-term adult residential treatment facility. They agreed not to operate one of those. The same with, I believe it was L. And then, so they requested now on item H, where it says prior to the issuance of the CO for the facility, Meridian will retain Columbia County, whoever else. If the conditions in the hospital are not found adequate for notification to first responders and police and sheriffs and the dispatch center, then they will coordinate with the city, Columbia County, to install with the financial assistance of the seller, a suitable BDA, et cetera, et cetera. So after the word install, to install and maintain. So that's the last request from the city, is the inclusion of those two words and maintain after the word install on condition H. Which, discussing that with Mr. Evans, didn't seem like that was gonna be a problem, kind of. I think we all assumed that was implicit. You wouldn't want to go put one in and then don't turn it on, or
Flip it off.
if the fuse breaks, blows, don't go reset the fuse. I don't think that'll be a problem. So I think that from Meridian and our standpoint and the language requested by the city, that we should be on the same page.
So I think that it's time for a very serious, a very serious statement and question to Meridian. Do you want the building or are you getting cold feet? One of the two is kind of, I
I mean,
think.
we've got Lauren right here. We can-
I'm not asking to put her on the spot. If she wants to answer, that's fine, but we don't need to
I'm with you.
continue down this and
Yep.
continue doing this. We're not gonna continue putting money into the building that we're trying to give away. That was made clear 4 years ago.
Go ahead, Ms. Johnson.
Get Mr.
You said something about be put in and maintained by the seller.
We would have, we,
No, all of the parties, the city, the county, and us would work together to try to see, determine how to best install that router. But they would be
Okay.
probably looking for some financial assistance, just to be clear.
Who would?
Meridian.
their grants, the school and the county, just did a joint venture to get a grant to get those type of systems into the public schools that don't have them.
So that's another expense we've got to look at.
Could possibly be.
Okay, now, but I've got another question. It says including maintenance. What if we dissolve? What happens to our part of it?
Well, our part, the way the agreement was written would be to collaborate with all of the entities to get it installed.
They would maintain.
From then on, it would be Meridian's obligation to
Okay,
maintain.
because I misunderstood that. I thought it said that we would cooperate to maintain it.
No, it would be, we would make it clear that if we gave any assistance, it would be in the installation. And that Meridian thereafter would be in charge of maintaining.
I don't know, Mr. Bill may still have some questions. Oh, Mr. Bullard.
I think that's all.
I'm in the agreement with Mr. Bill. It's either time for them to decide you want the building or you don't want it. You kick this can down the road, or y'all have, especially for 3 or 4 years. And, so. Just a yes or no.
I'd like, first of all, I would like to ask Ms. Cone a couple questions, but before I do so, I think what we need to do tonight, I may be wrong because it's stated on the agenda that it's to deal with the letter that was written on June the 12th by Meridian. And of course, Mr. Williams is talking about responding to another letter, which I haven't seen yet, that they sent Mr. Williams that has more details as to what's needed. But I think tonight what we need to do is decide, and I agree with Mr. Bullard, Mr. Bill and Ms. Chauncey, that we need to talk about the letter that was written on June the 12th, which is a request for a new Lakeshore Hospital building inspection report. And the problem I have with that in reading the letter dated June the 12th to the Lakeshore Hospital Authority Board is the very last paragraph. First of all, the next to the last paragraph, it states that the Meridian Healthcare Board of Directors wishes to raise a matter of concern. And then they go and base the information that has been recently brought to their attention that they have questions about several ongoing matters there at the building. And in the last paragraph, they're requesting for a comprehensive inspection to be conducted, and they would like for the inspection to be arranged and funded by the Lakeshore Hospital Authority and paid for by us. And according to the letter that Mr. Williams wrote on July the 3rd, I have to agree with that letter, and that is on page 5, paragraph 7 of the approved agreement for the conveyance of the real property. It provides Meridian with a 60-day feasibility period. So all I would like to know from Ms. Cone is what their board is thinking, because we're not privy to their discussions and conversations. It sounds to me like they're starting to get cold feet and realizing that they are going to take much more money than what they had actually anticipated. And if that's the case, I'd like to know that right up front, because I think I'm ready to make my decision tonight based on the letter that was written on June the 12th,
Fair enough.
which is the item on the agenda for tonight.
Ms. Cone, can you hear us?
Hi, yes, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Turn it up, please.
We turned her up.
I'll turn the speaker towards me, one of those speakers right there.
You sure you want me to push it? Get a dial tone.
Please don't let him do
Yeah, and maybe turn,
Try it
Say
again.
something again.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes,
yeah, that's good.
Okay,
we've got you, Ms. Cone.
okay.
You heard Mr. Kennedy, I would assume?
Yes. Good evening. I'm sorry I couldn't be there in person this evening, so thank you for having me virtually.
Appreciate it. In response to, I'm assuming you were listening to Mr. Kennedy and do you have any response to that or anything any statement you'd like to make to the board?
Sure, absolutely. Well, one, I also want to just quickly give you an update on the legislative appropriation because that was a question that also came up a few minutes ago by Mr. Beal. That legislative appropriation, as I think Mr. Williams indicated, was withdrawn because it could no longer be considered as we had not obtained the property. It hadn't been conveyed, nor had the agreement been signed. So we had to withdraw. Regarding the feelings of the board, I think nobody expected, first of all, the negotiations to take this long. So in the 3 years, obviously there would be some aging of the building. I think the concerns that came to us were just in the last few months in April, at the end of April, one of our staff members was in the building and observed some new developments that were concerning to us that were beyond the normal aging and wear and tear expectations of the condition of the building or previously known conditions, certainly. Um, those I've detailed in a letter to Mr. Williams. I know it was late Friday, but specifically the roof and the water. It's my understanding there was standing water in areas that I know Mr. Williams said you fix one leak and another one pops up, but according to the facility staff there, no leaks have been patched. Nothing, no mitigation or attempt to prevent further damage has been done. So I think those were the recent observations and the concerns that it's hard to know what you're working with without more details or an inspection. I think to Mr. Williams' point, comprehensive inspection, okay, what does that mean? I hear that. And is there another way to obtain additional information? Certainly, we are happy to talk more about that.
Ms. Cone, Don Kennedy,
Hi.
thank you for being here. Out of curiosity, with your board, which I'm looking at here on the side of the letterhead, it looks like there's about 12 members.
Yes.
In the last 36 months, have either you or Mr. Savoy presented to your board or has your board questioned as to the approximate amount of money that it will take to fully renovate this building over the 4-year period, which is planned by Meridian Healthcare to be fully functional?
We've certainly had those conversations, yes, over the last, several years.
But is it appear now to your board that maybe they're kind of concerned that that figure has increased by a substantial amount?
Well, that specifically was discussed as it relates to the new facilities concerned that were raised, certainly.
Okay. And your board is still insisting that the authority fund and arrange for as mutually agreed for an inspection.
That is the directive I was given in our June meeting, which was right before I sent that letter. So that letter was sent as follow-up to the directive that I was given from our board. So that is the request, yes.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Appreciate the consideration.
Y'all have any more questions for Ms. Cohen while we've got her? Appreciate it, Ms. Cohen.
Thank
we'll
you.
put you back on mute. So guess my only thoughts are, and just the contract brain coming out in me is, a comprehensive inspection like we've done in the past, if it's just gonna mirror the one that I walked with on those boys, 3 years ago. Seems like it's more of a pause than it is. I would rather the contractor or the engineer and or architect that's gonna perform the renovations or build the plans for the building would be more apt to make that inspection process themselves. And then if you select a general contractor, the general contractor bring the subs in, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, all part of the bid process. I think it's more of, I don't see why we would want to do that just so that they would then stack an architect on top of that, and then the subs would come in and do the exact same operation.
I think,
But I think we're just double dipping on the same process.
think
I don't think it's wrong. I think, their mind's in the right place. What's this thing gonna cost us? No problem. But I don't know that it's our ball at that point. I think we did in good faith. We built that report 3 years ago, handed it to them. You have 3 years of age stacked on the building. It reminds me of, the Candler Moses building down there, the Rexall had it. They said, oh, no, the roof's good. And turns out it wasn't. We thought we bought Chase and Chris thought they bought 4 walls on the roof. Turns out it just got the 4 walls.
Well, I think all of the big 2000 something report that detailed the envelope of the building, the roofs of the building. I mean, it was 2018. Believe they got that as well, which at that point said that the roofing system needed to be pretty much replaced.
True.
Yeah, I can't think
Engineered
of a
replaced.
single roof system that got a green light for
So
a pass.
I
And I
don't-
know there's been water leaks since.
I'm sure, and I would hope that we're at least plugging leaks if it's raining. I hope that we're doing that. Because it is a taxpayer's asset. I don't want to spend money to replace a roof. I'm not for us, me personally, I'm not for us funding another inspection or putting any money into an inspection. When again, the deal was, we're giving the building without any money.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry. Mr.
No, go ahead.
On that note, Mr. Bill, I agree 100%. And, especially, in the agreement that's been drafted up by our attorney, Mr. Kennan, and worked with Mr. Evans with the Meridian, the board attorney. They still have on page 5, item number 7, 60 days, the feasibility period to go over there, properly insured, for their vendors to go in and look at it and get the report, and then they can still walk away during that 60-day period from the whole project and say it's now, instead of the 15 million that we projected 3 months ago, it's increased by 10%, 15%, 20%. And trust me, if I was on their board, I would not be in agreement to that. And so that's a possibility. And Mr. Kennan, if we do anything tonight, in lieu of this, could we go ahead and instruct Meridian that they themselves, we are not going to pay for an inspection. We are not going to provide an inspector, but if they themselves want to provide an inspector to go in with proper insurance to cover the authority, that they can go ahead and begin to do that while we iron out the rest of the minor details, meaning start their feasibility study prior to them signing the agreement?
Yeah, I think we could do that as a very simple agreement. Providing that they agree their feasibility time period starts X date. And then we would need to be satisfied with their insurance coverage and that we were appropriately named as additional or named insureds under that. And then they can go ahead and start that process if they wanted to.
Yeah, if they wanted to. Well, I've heard all of y'all and I agree with everything y'all say and I'm 100% behind it. I've been here Mr. Bullard for the whole time kicking this can down the road, and I'm tired of kicking it too. And I'm about ready to kick it to where it's just laying flat on the ground, but, I'm not in favor of the item on the agenda is approving of what they're requesting on June the 12th. Yes, there has been hurdles that we've had to get over through this, but I will say, Ms. Chauncey, I agree with Mr. Bill. We have not had to pay anything towards Meridian's doings. It's been the hurdles from paying for the parking lot and the hurdles from the zoning issue for the last 12 months. Am I correct, Mr. Williams?
Correct.
And so, but I would like to hear the comments of my fellow board members before I try to make a motion.
Well, you know my thoughts. I think the inspection's taking the place of what the architect and the due diligence period is gonna do anyway. It's just double dipping.
I think you're right. It's a delaying tactic, which I have no idea why they want another one.
For the record, I didn't say it was a lane tactic. I just think
And it is
it's an
though.
additional step.
It is. Okay. It is unnecessary because it's gonna be duplicated by their people.
Right, but
Okay.
sometimes, for the record, I'm just saying, I have bumped into owners before that think that that's all part of the due diligence process. And it's just, to me, it's like, why would you waste the time? Send in your architects, your contractors know how to fix it better than anybody else.
And as far as the roof problem goes, I don't think any structure in Florida that is more than 30 years old has not had a roof problem. You know,
Knocking on wood.
very good. I mean,
There's a storm coming.
it's just part of being in Florida. It's like the kid that got bit by the alligator swimming in the river.
Well, the waterproof specialist that came here, they said, I remember, they said very clearly, and I've used this example 100 times, they said waterproofing. Once we get everything patched and everything's all that, you take the stopwatch and you press it
Yeah,
and time marches.
yes.
So time's been marching for 3 years.
Hey, it's been marching longer than that.
Yeah.
Okay, we're lucky that we haven't had more problems with that roof.
I agree.
Are you making a motion?
Yes or no, that's all I want to hear.
Well,
it's-
I think I would like to make a motion, but I would like to make a motion just strictly involving the agenda item. But then I may have another motion after that. Is that possible, dealing with this item on the agenda?
Depending on what your other motion is, I would think so. I mean, if it relates to
Well,
the inspection, the
Yes.
requested inspection.
Yes. Well, I would like to make a motion that regarding the letter dated June the 12th, 2025 by the Meridian Healthcare Board of Directors, signed by the president, the CEO, Lauren Cohen, that we do not accept their request for an inspection to be arranged and funded by the Lakeshore Hospital Authority.
I'll second that.
Have a motion and a section to decline the request to fund a additional inspection report for the hospital. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Sounds unanimous, motion passes. Mr. Kennedy.
And in consideration, because of how far we have kicked this can down the road, that's not part of the motion. But I would like to make a motion that Mr. Williams and Mr. Kennan inform the Meridian Healthcare Board and their attorney that through Mr. Kennan and Mr. Evans, that arrangements can be made for them to begin immediately as soon as all of the i's are dotted and t's are crossed to do their due diligence inspection regarding ownership of the building. Do I need to add anything else?
Yeah, that covers it.
I'll second that.
A motion and a second to inform Meridian they are welcome to begin their due diligence process immediately, with all the required accoutrement. All those in favor say aye. Catch it.
Even me.
Okay, that motion passes unanimously. Okay, let's move on to next item of business, discussion and acceptance of the Lake Shore Hospital Authority annual financial report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As all of you are aware, we are required as a public entity to have an annual audit performed. The last fiscal year would have been the fiscal year that ended September 30th, 2024. That audit has been complete and it was presented. It is on your agenda for you to acknowledge receipt of the report. You are not approving the audit. The audit is the auditor's work. We find an error, we can argue with him or her, but all you are required to do is to acknowledge receipt of the audit. It was received prior to the deadline, but because we only meet once per month, you are just now seeing it. And you actually have a bound copy of that audit. I did review the audit. I have reviewed it. I find that the hospital authority is in good shape and that they perform things in accordance with appropriate policies and generally accepted accounting principles. We got a clean management letter, no findings, et cetera. So I think the audit was good, which is what we expect it to be. But having said that, you're just being asked to acknowledge receipt of this financial report. It's already been filed with the Secretary of State. I mean, the Auditor General, I'm sorry.
Okay. Any public comments on the audit? Okay. Do we have to file a motion to acknowledge? No, okay. Double check.
Move that we acknowledge the 2024 fiscal year ending 2024 annual financial report.
Okay.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to acknowledge the fiscal year ended 2024 financial report by Powell Jones. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Passes unanimously. Any other comments on that before we move on? Okay. On the next item of business, the discussion and approval of the BA 2025-3 quarterly amendment, the building administration fund from July 25 to September 25. Mr. Williams.
Yeah, thank you again, Mr. Chairman. This is the last quarter of the current fiscal year. As you will recall, you as a Board of Trustees requested that you review every quarter as it relates to the building administrative fund. And the way you chose to do that was through the budget allocation process. So each quarter you have to approve the funding for the upcoming quarter. So having said that, we are requesting a budget amendment number, what is that? 2025-3 in the amount of $80,000. This, of course, will carry you through the end of the current fiscal year. And of course, you will be addressing this again in your upcoming budget, workshops. So.
Any public comments? Wish the board.
I reluctantly make a motion to approve BA 2025-3.
I'll reluctantly second it.
There's a motion and a second to approve BA 2025-3, the quarterly amendment, or July 25 to the September 25, or is that to the end of the year, end of the fiscal year?
Yeah.
End of the fiscal year. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion approved, it's approved unanimously. All right, on to our next item, discussion and approval renewal of the US Treasury notes, the LSHA surplus funds and investment.
Yeah.
Mr. Williams.
Mr. Chairman, as all of you are aware, we have these contingency funds of the authority invested in treasuries. One of those notes, which is roughly $2 million, $1,996,704.76, is about to mature. It will mature the end of this month. What we are asking is for your permission to renew as a treasury, once this note matures, a new note in the same amount, whatever the surrender amount is. We are looking to do that at a 1-year period, unless we get different advice between now and then. And if you can see, the current rates on new treasury notes are pretty much up compared to what they have been. So we would expect this to yield more than what we previously received. However, it has been good for the authority. This investment has been good for us.
Mr. After you take comments. Sorry, public comments on the treasury. All right, Chris.
Williams, if you could just ask Mr. Powell, or if you have the information, I would just like for it to be stated for the record at our next meeting how good it's been for the taxpayers.
We can do so. You'd like to know total interest earned and stuff
Yeah.
like that?
I don't see that as well.
I know it has been good, but I don't know the exact number, but I would like for.
We all got to remember, we come from some of that like 0.5% stuff and whatever, so we're limited. You know, we can't compete with the private sector. They have a lot more options where to invest their money, your personal money. You have a lot more options. Governmental entities are limited as to what they can invest the public's money in. And there's not as much risk in it, and therefore there's not as much return in it. But as far as what we can invest in, this has been good for us. Tanya, you make that note?
Unless somebody else has a comment, I'll make a motion that we upon maturity, we go with a 12-month treasury note unless advice comes from
Mr.
Mr.
Powell.
Powell as to a different term between now and the end of this month.
I'll second that.
And I gotta repeat it, good luck. We have a motion and a second to renew the US Treasury notes as stated by Mr. Beal. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. On to our next item of business, discussion approval of the fiscal year 2025-2026 budget.
It's that time of year, Mr. Chairman, where we are required by law to establish the maximum millage rate. And just for the record, you can, whatever rate you establish at hearings, you can reduce, but you cannot increase. This is the millage that'll be filed with the appropriate authorities and will end up being shown on the trim notice, the truth in millage notice, where the individual citizens of the county will know what each individual taxing entity is establishing as taxes for the year. Having said all of that, we really do not levy or have not levied the past several years a working millage. We are living off of the investments of the authority and their reserves. That is because we do not have a operating hospital, and that was because of the contract termination by community health systems. So what we have done in the past is we have levied a millage of 1/10,000th of 1 mil. .0001. And we have done that in order to maintain a slot on the tax bill where it can clearly be seen that we're levying a tax. But I think countywide, it generates $500 or $600. But nonetheless, it's not a working millage. It is a millage to preserve our taxing authority. So having said that, we would recommend that you maintain that same millage, 1/10,000th of 1 mil. And that is what will be advertised as our maximum millage.
Any public comments? Okay, board member comments?
Wanted to make sure that the reporter got all of that we've been working on. The investments, and we have not been taxing.
Could gloss over it for sure.
Send a copy to the city,
Yeah.
off the record.
Oh. So do I have do we need to establish that millage rate here?
Yes,
Okay.
unless y'all want to have a special meeting and do it.
Yeah, that's what we do. Everybody pull your calendars out.
That's coming, that's coming,
Not
that's coming, that's coming.
Make a motion that we establish the maximum millage rate for the 2025-2026 budget at 1/10,000th of a mil, or 0.0001.
I proudly second that.
A motion and a second to establish and or maintain the maximum millage rate of 0.0001. I get that one right? All those in favor, oh, sorry, for the fiscal year 2025-2026 year, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Okay, and also what comes with this is we're required to establish our public hearings. 2 are required to adopt the budget. We always have the first at our regular meeting in September, which will be September 8th. And we are recommending the second hearing be Monday, September 22nd. Now, there are other taxing entities that take priority over us. If we should end up with a conflict, we'll let you know. But, barring a conflict, it will be the 8th and 22nd, subject to your approval.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Public comments on that? Second. All right, Mr. Kennedy.
That's fine. I understand this is, we're following the agenda, but, I guess at the end of the agenda from board member comments, we'll get on that, because we've given some different directives here tonight to Mr. Kennan and Mr. Williams regarding Meridian. And I think we need to look at a special meeting, the last Monday in August also. And I'm asking for Mr. Kennan to let me know now if he thinks within 6 weeks that we can get an answer, and Mr. Williams, we can get an answer from them regarding Meridian doing the feasibility study. To hopefully have it begin. Hopefully we'll know by our August meeting, but if not, I think we need to have a special meeting in the last Monday in August to finalize that, given Meridian 6 weeks. Am I unreasonable on that, Mr. Kennan, or?
No, I don't think so, because I think, the city would have time between then and now, once we know Meridian's position. For Mr. Martin to
Right.
take care of it with his counsel.
Yeah, I didn't mean to get the cart ahead of the horse, but I would like to just bring that out too, but I don't have any problems, and I agree if a motion is needed for the September meeting. I don't have any problems with that, or has there been a motion already made?
No,
No. Did you want to make that?
I can't.
Okay.
I make a motion that our September meetings be, our budget meetings first be our regular meeting on September the 8th. And an anticipated date of September the 22nd for the final budget hearing.
I'll second that.
Wait a minute.
Oh, oops.
To be changed if there is a problem at the discretion of Mr. Williams taking a poll of all of us and changing the date. Which he would do without a problem.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. Yep,
You need a second.
and I will second that.
All right. Motion and a second to establish the dates, as so, described by Ms. Chancey. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Passes. All right. Last item of unfinished business, discussion and possible action for the city of Lake City zoning determination regarding Lake Shore Hospital Authority, including settlement proposals. March 12, 2025, chapter 164 meeting between LSHA and the city of Lake City representatives, Mr. Kenneth.
I don't have anything to add other than the progress we've made with Meridian and Mr. Martin of the city to tweak the language of exhibit or paragraphs K and L of exhibit B. And then I'll be waiting and I'll follow up Mr. Evans this week on making sure Meridian has no problem putting in, maintaining whatever system is required to be installed pursuant to that particular exhibit.
Any public comments? Any comments from the board?
The only comment I have is that, in addition to the regular meeting that we're having on August the 11th, that we set one 2 weeks after that, the 25th, so that we can give Mr. Kennan and Mr. Evans and Mr. Martin and Mr. Williams et al. To finalize this deal in the next 6 weeks with Meridian and the hospital authority.
That would actually work out really good because then get us through the first quarter
Yes, sir.
budget amendment.
And I know Mr. Williams had indicated last month at our meeting that he would like for us to see if we could have all of unfinished business completed by the end of this fiscal year. And that brings another thought too. I would like to go ahead and whatever other existing property that the authority is in possession of, that we get that on the agenda for either the 11th of August or the 25th of August. More specifically, the 12 lots that we're still in possession of. And I guess instruct Mr. Williams to inform any individuals who may be interested in those 12 lots that we'd like to hear from them. I know 3 years ago, the board members, excluding Mr. Bullard, because he wasn't here at that time, but this board, I'll use the word instructed me to meet with the college to see of their interest in those 12 lots at that time, if the city did not fulfill the interlocal agreement, which expired February 10th, 2024, 18 months ago. So I think we should reach out to the college to see if they're interested. And again, the city at one time said that they were still interested, but I haven't heard from either entity. And I even think I heard the county may be interested, and I'd like to hear from the 3 entities and school board or anybody. Lake City Reporter or be a good office site. That's just my thoughts as far as board member comments, and I know I'm getting the cart ahead of the horse.
I'm saying, unless I zoned out, I'm like, wait a second.
And I'd like to get some feedback from Mr. Williams regarding my comment regarding getting any unfinished business done by the end of the fiscal year.
Yeah, that is the exact direction that I understood we were to take. I have called and spoke to one of our legislative aides about getting an appointment with one of our legislators to kind of find out what they see as being the timeline and the process where I can keep you informed. You know, you've got a right of say in this process too. So when is the best time for you to express what your opinions are, those things, as well as what they foresee as being the timelines? But what we do know is they're going to start committee in October. They have to because it's an early legislative session that begins in January. So we're working against that clock. We'd normally have a few extra months in a non-election year, but you're not going to have that this year. So everything has sort of been expedited. And the last conversations that I had, the more we've got off the table, the better, because that's the less they have to deal with in deciding what they're going to do. And that makes sense to me.
We're close to tying up all loose ends and, just like go ahead and see us get it done, so. I can write my letter out.
Mine's already written.
Yes, you're gonna miss this. All right. Staff reports in your packets. Any final board member comments, Ms. Chance?
Are we required to have budget meetings in September?
You have your hearings. You're required to have your 2 hearings. Yes, ma'am.
It has to be September.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
They're real specific. They talk about the beginning of the new fiscal year and they actually kind of back into it.
In August.
Every one of the taxing entities will be holding their budget hearings in September, but that's
Okay.
because it's statutory.
But we can put other items on the agenda other than that, correct?
Let me see. I think
We have in the past.
the hearings have to be in the evening. They can't be day meetings.
Right.
Yeah, I don't remember a prohibition of adding items to those agendas.
I remember a couple of times we had a budget meeting and that was closed and then we went into a regular meeting. We opened that, so that's 2 meetings. on
But we
one-
do have to remember any portion of that meeting. If it's not on a regular meeting date, it has to be advertised as a special meeting. Because you can't just consider that to be budget, so if you add items on it, we're gonna have to advertise it as a special meeting. Correct, Todd?
Yes.
And that was my reason for bringing it up to August 25th meeting, so we could go ahead and get Miss Markham to advertise it, but we can always cancel it if everything's been done before then, correct? Thank you.
Okay.
So the pressure's on.
That concludes your comment, Ms. Chance.
That, it answered my question,
That
yes.
concludes your comments. Mr. Kennedy, any
None,
further?
I've made too many.
I'm good, Mr. Bullock. Mr. Beal.
Unfortunately. So, can we, and I'll just make it easy. Can we start adding palms to the unfinished business on each agenda? And also, what are we looking at for rewriting our policy to match palms?
Good questions. Number one is Friday got an update from Anita. They're waiting on some civil engineering work. I fully expect they're going to be on the next agenda. And I did tell Anita that if they were ready, I would discuss with the chair about having a special meeting just to address the approval of the palms. So I hope to get an update this week, and it may be that we do have a special meeting for palms. As far as the medical assistance plan goes, we obtained a copy of Palm's medical assistance plan. We have 75% modified it to make it work for the authority. Wouldn't take much at all to finish it up, so I think that's very close.
I feel like because we haven't kind of agreed that we would adjust our plan, I feel like we need to do that before we start construction. Maybe I'm wrong, but
I would just remind you that just because of the way this is going to work in the future, It's fine if you adopt this new medical assistance plan for the authority, but we need to keep the old one until that goes online. So, you know, you can date it. You can say this is what we'll do effective here, but it will not replace and will not work for the interim period.
And they're paying for their own inspections without question.
Yeah.
Good little dig there.
Yeah.
All right. That concludes the meeting. We'll be adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Sorry.